I'll work on the description afterwards. So, this is Michael. Good morning. It's 10:23 a.m. on March 27th of 2021, and thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Let me see here. All right. Ta-da! I wanted to respond to this article on Reason. I'm not directly responding to Reason on this. It's mainly my response to what's her name? Oh, it says right there, Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, I remember her. Elizabeth. No, I don't. I don't know her in person, but Elizabeth Warren wants to break up Amazon so it's not quote unquote powerful enough to hackle senators with snooty tweets. She said. The quiet part of out loud. She said the quiet part out loud, I guess, during a hearing. So this was written by Robbie Shoaib. I don't know how to spell his last name. At 3:26, 11:58 a.m. in 2021. So this was yesterday when this article came out. And this is probably perhaps one of the shortest articles that I've seen so far on Reason. And there's a picture of her right there. So let me kind of respond. Well, first off, let me read this and then I'll respond. Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts accused Amazon of not paying its fair share in taxes during a Senate Finance Committee hearing on Thursday, which prompted the company to respond that it merely follows the tax laws created by Congress. And as Amazon put it, if you don't like the laws you've created, by all means change them. Reads a tweet from Amazon's account, of course. Warren did not appreciate the remark. That remark, according to Robbie, is the one that he's the one that wrote this article, and then he provides the source from a Twitter feed where Elizabeth Warren puts where this is literally a quote from Elizabeth Warren responding to Amazon that I don't write the loopholes you exploit. Amazon, your armies of lawyers and lobbyists did, but you bet I'll fight to make sure you pay your fair share of taxes, blah, 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 fight your union bust and break up big tax. I mean, you can literally see right there what she's talking about. She's saying that she's going to fight to make sure they pay their fair share of taxes, but then we're going to increase the taxes. So every time, they have to pay the exact amount that everybody else has to pay. What kind of garbage is she espousing? I don't even know. So, because this was a response that she put to Amazon, where and Amazon put, "You make the tax law, Senator Warren. We just follow them." True, they do. If you don't like the laws you've created, by all means, change them. Here are the facts. Amazon has paid billions of dollars in corporate taxes over the past few years alone. Now, this goes on to say that Robbie says that this is a classic example of saying the quiet part out loud. Warren innovatively revealed that her crusade to hurt major tech companies is partly driven by personal animus. She wants to reduce the power of corporations so that they are no longer powerful enough to hackle senators. In fact, everyone enjoys the right to hackle senators. If by hackle we mean engage in constitutionally protected political expression, senators are elected to represent. They are supposed to be accountable to their constituents and the public more broadly. It is not cancel culture when people criticize Representative whoever this person is from Georgia. Her previous enthusiasm for Q and similarly, there's no da 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 da. So over the course of the matter, Warren is also wrong, and so on and so forth. I kind of agree with this article here. What Robbie's pointing out, because he's saying that look, Warren is also wrong. It's not the Amazon pays close to nothing in taxes. It paid 162 million in federal last year, and is on the hook for nearly $1 billion more. Amazon does take advantage of several pro-business policies that let it reduce its total tax liability, investing in research and development, tax credits, and deductions, etc. The U.S. tax code is extraordinarily complicated, and it's not surprising that massive corporations are able to find creative ways to hold on to more of their profits. And I think this go and so as Amazon pointed out, it is within Congress's power to simplify the law, and better yet, Robbie goes on to say that local governments could cease the practice of bridging companies to get them to headquarters in specific cities. Neither of these options are necessities, breaking up Amazon, which remains the second most trusted entity in the country after military and Congress is the institution to which Warren belongs, has been ranked the least trusted institution for 14 years. Yeah, it's true. Congress has been ranked. I mean, so here's the thing. Here's part of the issue with Warren. I mean, this is senator, by the way. This is we should have $15 an hour for every freaking job that hires Americans and so on and so forth, or anybody for that matter. I mean, they practically live in a bubble where instead of worrying about, and I'm just going to add to that. Instead of worrying about whether we should break up Amazon or not, how about we get rid of corporate subsidies that might enable them to pay as little that enable them to take advantage of or to receive funding from the federal government and all these loopholes in the first place. Better yet, why don't we just get rid of the income tax altogether and replace it with the fair tax or something similar to that? The point is, and really it begs the question, who is the government to decide what companies should survive and which companies don't, which companies get funding and which ones don't, and which ones should be broken up and which ones don't? I mean, Elizabeth Warren did not create Amazon. I mean, let's make that, I want to make that very clear. She did not create Amazon. In fact, she didn't create any business outside of being in Congress for I don't know how long, and she's going to talk about Amazon. I mean, Amazon gives you okay, maybe I don't agree with everything Amazon does as far as their censorship in recent years, but other than that, I mean, Amazon has made everybody's life convenient with a lot of the features they have with Amazon Prime and so forth. I mean, you can literally order whatever it is you want, and it comes to you in the mail within 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever. And I don't even think it takes that long anymore, depending on where the product comes from. If we're talking, I mean, look, I don't think we should be directing or telling the free market what it can and can't do, especially when the government did not create the free market and yet continues to want to regulate it over extensively and overtax them under one hand by quote unquote making them pay their fair share in taxes as if nobody else has to pay billions of dollars. I mean, first of all, nobody has that kind of money. I mean, most of the poor don't even have that kind of money to pay anywhere as remote to what Amazon or Google or any of these big so-called big tech companies have to pay. I mean, so it's just food for thought. I mean, look, nobody wants to pay taxes, and this is why a lot of people say, especially in the Libertarian Party, not everybody says it, but the anarcho-capitalists and all that, they say, oh, taxation is theft. Because if I went to a store and I can see why they say that, but I don't think it's practical to get rid of taxes altogether overnight. But I can see why they say that because in a certain sense, if you go to a store and try to rob somebody and take their money at gunpoint, that would be called theft. But when the government taxes you and takes your money out of your paycheck, they don't call it theft. They call it a tax. So and they probably charge the corporations a lot more than they do to people because they know they're going to get a lot of money out of it. But then they also give the corporations a lot of money in return. Look at all the corporate welfare we get, right? So, I mean, look, I think we should lower and reduce the taxes for everybody abroad in this country, not just corporations, not just big companies or anybody that makes a lot of money, but people in general. We should dramatically reduce the tax rate so that we don't have to pay much. And on top of that, we should reduce the spending. And none of that gets addressed by people like Elizabeth Warren because, what she likes to talk about is how to grow the size of the federal government and infringe on the rights of the free market and individuals alike, especially most Americans and most general liberals in this country generally agree with her on that. But I mean, I don't, and that's just my personal opinion on that. I don't personally agree. So, but this is what Robbie talks about, and he has his input to it, so that's good. And yeah, that's pretty much the ordeal here. That's pretty much where we're going with this. Is the government is intrusive and infringes on everybody's civil liberties and rights. And it's like the more the government grows, the more that happens. I mean, we've seen this already under the past 4 years of the Trump administration. Now we're seeing it with the Biden administration. He wants to ban, he wants to create an executive order to ban ARs. And, we've seen government grow so many, and it hasn't happened overnight. I mean, it was going on through prior administrations with both the Democrats and the Republicans. And so I just want to add my input on that article. I hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, so I'm Michael J. Long. It's now 10:35 a.m. And so I just wanted to respond to that article here. And so that, anyways, I'm Michael J. Long. It's 10:35 a.m. and thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.